Now, we have to create a brand new project for people who are joining the session for the first time, any Google Cloud session for the first time, or you're using Google Cloud Console for the first time ever, or you are using this account for the first time, whatever be the reason, or you just, for fun, you just want to create a brand new project. If that is the case, then you follow along right now. We are going to create a brand new project. For other folks who already have an existing project and you want to use that, but you don't want to go with any random billing account, you want to make sure you're using the trial billing account only, please hold on. We'll address that scenario after we do the first scenario, which is creating a brand new project. Follow me? So let's do the brand new project part. So for folks who clicked the Google Cloud logo and came to the console, the landing page, who don't see any project right here, or who don't have any project previously, this is the first time you're going to create a project. Click the project picker drop down. Once the select a project dialog box opens, you see the new project button on the top right corner. Click the new project button. You should see a page which says project name, billing account, and location. Give a project name of your choice. I'm going to just give something that works for me for today's session. Leave the billing account as if this is the only billing account you activated today, then you will only see one in the dropdown. But in my case, I have multiple, so I'm just allowing it to choose the trial billing account. If you have only one, the trial billing account, make sure you choose that. If you have multiple, then make sure you're adding the one that you added recently today. If you don't know what you added recently, but you want to activate trial billing account, then don't worry about it. Just select something random and click create. We'll associate it with we'll make sure we are correctly associating it with the right trial billing account later. Just do what, if you're going to create a new project anyway, this is your step. You enter a project name, you select your trial billing account option from the list of billing accounts, and you click the create button here. Leave location as it is. No need to choose anything in your organization dropdown. So basically, you're creating, this is your entry point to Google Cloud. This is the first step. You're creating a project in Google Cloud. This is where you're going to enter the world of Google Cloud and activate or use or enable all the services that are there that are required for your project today, and utilize those services to build your business application. That's what we're going to do, right? So now that I've created a brand new project, I want to make sure that is the project that is showing here, right? So click the project picker again. If you have only one project, great. That's the only project that will show there. I have multiple. So I'm going to manually, forcefully select the one that I just created. Also, make sure you copy this project ID and keep it somewhere handy so that you can use it in your application. So I'm going to save it somewhere so that I can come back to it later. No worries, even if you don't save it now, all you have to do is just click this project picker whenever you want, and then you copy the ID on the right-hand side. You may be thinking, why can't I just see this and type whatever is there? In most cases, the name and ID won't be same. They may be different. That's why you always keep a note of it. All right, so there we go. We have completed project creation and billing account association. This is happy path, new project, new billing account. Now for another happier path where you already have projects and you want to associate with a new billing account, or you want to make sure you're associating it only with a trial billing account and not with any of the other billing accounts that you already have. So how do we do that? Let's talk about that right now. So make sure you have the Code Lab open. The Code Lab link was also shared with you in the pinned message, right? So if you did not copy if you missed copying the Code Lab link previously, I'm going to help you with the Code Lab link right now. Please turn off your videos. I'll also do that right now. This might be a distraction for other people. So please turn off your videos and microphones as well. Yeah. So I have pinged the Code Lab link in the chat. Thank you, Jay. With me, I don't remember. So whoever pasted the Code Lab link, thank you. Make sure you pin it so that others can come back to it. All right. So now we have our Code Lab open. The second path where I said the happier path, how to associate the billing account with the older project, we'll get to it. Don't worry, it is there in the Code Lab. That's why I'm asking you to continue with what I'm doing. All right. Just make sure though you're in this step where you have actively selected the right project. Since you have multiple projects, the happier path, the second path, make sure you're choosing the right project where you want to build today. We'll talk about the assignment of the right billing account in the next step. All right. Now, going back to the Code Lab, we have activated credits, the first path, right? Second path, we'll make sure we are linking it soon. But what are we going to build, right? So we are going to build a dating profile for your stuff. So what we are going to do is, you are basically, when I say your stuff, let's say you have good things, like you have an extra lamp, which is probably vintage, or it's probably from some other country that you bought, but you don't no longer find the use for it because you're changing your mood, you're changing the vibe of your interiors, or you have a flower pot which you think is beautiful, but I'm traveling a lot, so I don't have enough time to take care of it. Somebody else might want it. Whatever it is, it's extra stuff, right? It's surplus. So you post about it, you list it in this app, and people who have a need for it, they swipe right and left based on what they need. And if they match with what if your listing matches their need, then that's it. They'll get your contact and they'll be able to reach out to you so that you can give it to them. So that's basically it, a simple dating profile for your stuff. All right. So what are we using to build this? Of course, images are involved, right? Because you have to click it, and automatically, based on the images or based on the things that you're uploading, please turn off your microphones, please. I request again, because it's distracting the folks who are listening. Yeah. So image, it gets translated automatically. You know how these dating apps have a witty bio profile. If you have not used it, then you can just read about it. There are like bio representation of what who they are. It's just the person's bio, right? The person's introduction or anything of that sort. So similarly, this, what it does is, if you click a bag, or if you click a water bottle, an extra one that you have, or whatever it is, it gives a witty description of the item, and it also identifies what it is. The most common problem for listing stuff is that you have to write a lot about it. You have to sell it. But here you don't have to. That's where Gemini 3 Flash comes in with its superpower of analyzing things and giving the right context for your requirements. And it is able to provision all of that that's needed. And we are using cloud storage because we're dealing with multimodal data structure, right? So we are going to use Google Cloud Storage for storing the image objects. And for the most important part, which we have already established, we are going to use AlloyDB for database. Now, AlloyDB, we have already established that it's a relational database, which is known for a lot of things. But out of all the things, I would want to call out three most important things: the scale, speed, and security. Scale, of course, you can not just scale, but also for real-time data, for fast transactions, not just transactions, for faster analytics. Everything AlloyDB is known for it. It's basically Postgres on steroids. It's also called as an HTAP database because it's also, apart from doing transactional, it is also used for analytical processing. You'd be wondering, how can one database support both? I mean, there are a few databases out there that does that. Like BigQuery is also known, besides being a data warehouse, you can also use it sometimes for your transactional needs. So AlloyDB is one such database. If you're wondering why is that or how is that, it's because it's columnar nature. By its nature or by design, AlloyDB is designed to store your data or make your data readily available in a columnar engine. That way, your reads are much faster whenever you need it. So your analytics requirements or analytics features also become really fast, or 100x faster analytics. That's what we say, as compared to your standard on-prem or self-managed Postgres services. So that's exactly how we place AlloyDB. So it's really useful. You would experience it as and when you're using it. But again, you're using a trial billing account today. So if you don't get the same experience with using AI from within the scope of AlloyDB, don't feel bad, because it's trial credits. You'll only go so far with trial billing, trial account. But when you know, or as you experience how fast it is without the AI aspect, you will see that this will really make sense or be valuable for your AI addition or bringing AI to where the data resides. So that's why you will experience that, and that's why you will need AlloyDB, is what the realization you will have once you're able to build this and you're able to take this to your applications in business or applications in your startup or whatever it is that you're doing in your learning journey. Now, because it's trial billing account, if you face quota issues while running AI calls from within the scope of database, feel free to limit the number of rows that you're returning. That's one thing we can do. Yeah, so moving on. We've already completed project creation and billing account creation, the happy path. Now, then for the next step, what we want to do is Cloud Shell activation. So how do we do that? Go back to your Google Cloud Console, right? Make sure you're able to see the project ID listed here. Make sure you're also able to see the Activate Cloud Shell button right next to the Gemini logo. Click that Activate Cloud Shell button. And while it's loading, let's talk about what Cloud Shell is. It's basically a way to interact with the Google Cloud services. It has both terminal and editor. It's like a machine. It's a Cloud Shell machine. It has terminal and editor. It'll ask you to authorize. Go ahead and authorize. So with the terminal, you can pass the commands to interact with the services. And with the editor, you can use it as an IDE. Write your code, store files, minimal files. So if you if you encounter an issue where it says storage is full or there's not enough space or quota limit reached, just delete your old projects because you're using it for testing purposes, right? Download it, download your existing projects and delete it. Download it to your local and then delete the project so that you can create new ones. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So this should be open right here, the Cloud Shell terminal, and make sure the prompt that it is showing is actually showing your project ID in the left in the Google Cloud Shell terminal. And you should also see an open editor button on top, which when clicked toggles between editor and terminal. Editor is where you write code and store files, and terminal is where you write the commands to run or do whatever, to interact with the services. As you can see right here, you can see both my terminal and editor. So currently I'll leave it at terminal. Show of thumbs, how many of you have completed this far? Okay, for confirming. Let's keep going. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Now that we are there, we just also enable APIs before we move on to the next step. So if you are in the code labs, before you begin step, scroll down and come to point number 7. Enable the required APIs. If you can see that step, the word link is a hyperlink. Right click on that hyperlink, copy the link address, and open a new tab in the same browser window where you have. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Make sure you're opening the new tab in the same browser where you have Google Cloud Console open and paste that link, hit enter. Basically, why I said the same tab is because I don't want you to accidentally log in into a different user account like I did right now. I have logged into a different email, which should not be the case. Your Google Cloud Console and your API enablement should be done in the same email account, right? This won't be the case for many of you. You may be having the same Gmail account, but just in case accidentally you have multiple email accounts logged into your device, make sure your current project and current tabs are all linked to the same email account. All right, so now I have this link that I copied from before you begin step of the code lab, point number 7. Right click the link, hyperlink, copy the link, open a new tab, paste it there, hit enter. You should see it will confirm the project. You are okay. My project is correct. So I click next. It will confirm the list of APIs that I'm going to enable. As you can see right here, we're going to enable AlloyDB API. Why? Because we are going to use AlloyDB database. Compute Engine, Resource Manager, Service Networking, Cloud Run, Cloud Build, Cloud Functions. These are all mostly for. I have set Cloud Functions enable, but you don't have to if you don't use Cloud Functions. But mostly these are all for serverless services. And the Vertex AI API is because we are going to use Gemini from Vertex AI. And now I'll go ahead and click the enable button and we are set with the APIs. Once this enable function is complete, you will be done with your before you begin. That is prerequisite step. So it'll take about a few seconds here, 5 more seconds or so, and then it'll be complete. Show of thumbs, how many of you got to this point? Okay, thank you. Thanks for confirming. Yeah, that's enough. Thank you. It's taking a little bit of time for my enabling the APIs. Let's see. Let's give it a second. Usually it will be done in a few seconds. Okay, now it's enabled. As you can see right here, there are 2 tick marks, blue check marks in the enable axis. It should be the case with you as well. And the enable button will be grayed out. That's pretty much it. All right. Cool. Now that we have enabled APIs, you can close that enable API tab which you opened specifically for this and go back to your code lab. Now that we have completed this step, for folks who are facing issues and any other issues, the gotchas and troubleshooting steps, what can go wrong is listed here. If you're stuck, you can always go through that and see what issue you encountered. But mostly these are all very simple steps. You would have come this far. Let's move on to database setup. This is the most important part. In this process, we'll also do the second path, which I mentioned, the happier path, where project is already existing. You just want to make sure you're not accidentally using any other billing account. You're just using the trial billing account that you might have enabled or activated and redeemed in one of these sessions. So let's make sure we do that. But before we do that, I want you all to go to the code lab, step number 3, because we have to copy some stuff from here. Now, in your case, you will already be logged into the right profile. So you just can go ahead and click this one-click run deploy, one-click run button. I'm not going to do that because if I do it, it'll automatically open in my Google profile. I want to open it in my personal Gmail profile, right? So I'm going to take a different route. Don't have to follow me. If you have your code lab open in the Gmail profile, don't worry at all. Just click this button, one click. As I can show you, just click it and it should automatically open it in the right Gmail account, the same tab for you, maybe. Click trust repo and then click confirm. Once you click confirm, it will automatically take you to the Cloud Shell terminal. It will ask you to authorize. Go ahead and authorize. All right. You can follow these steps right now. Authorize it and then it will do the required steps and it will clone the repository automatically and it will open a tutorial on the right side. This tutorial is just for AlloyDB easy setup purposes. That's all. All right. So what we have done so far is just clone the repository from here. All right. And then we are going to make sure that we are in the right project directory. Automatically, when you click that button, it will navigate into your appropriate project directory, which is ec-alloydb-setup. That must be the case with in your scenario as well. For folks who did this exercise yesterday, this assignment or different project yesterday, you probably would have a numbered folder name, which is fine. If you don't want to click that button, you can just come to your Cloud Shell terminal and navigate into that folder, which is already cloned. This is only for folks who did not do it yesterday, who don't have the project, or did not deleted it consciously, then we can do this step. Yeah. Now click the start button in the tutorial and just copy this sh-run.sh step and you can close this tutorial. That's all. Just copy the sh-run.sh and close the tutorial. Like I mentioned, for some folks, this folder will be numbered. If you attended the session yesterday and you still have the project in your editor, it will number your folder. If you want, you can just use this and eventually delete both later after the session today. But for now, just don't worry about it. Be inside the folder. For folks who did not click the button so far, you still have yesterday's project in your editor. Just go to Cloud Shell terminal, which you have already opened anyway, and just navigate into that folder which you have created yesterday. Whatever that was. Easy-alloydb-setup, right? Like I'm doing right now. Right? So I have it already. In your case, it's not easy AlloyDB. It will be ec-alloydb-setup. Go inside that and you should make sure you're able to see all these files listed. For folks who clicked that button and navigated using the tutorial, copied the sh-run.sh, both of you, what you have to do, both categories of people, what you have to do right now, just paste the sh-run.sh inside, making sure that you're inside the project folder and hit run. This will run the shell file, that is a script that is required for triggering the application, which we'll open right now in your local host. As you can see, the console is showing 3 links or 2 links. 127. Click the link that says 127.0.0.1 8080 port 8080. Just click that link and make sure it opens your cloud browser in new tab. Or you can just copy that or right click that, copy, open a new tab and paste it there. Make sure all of you are able to see this local application running. Now, for the happy path folks, the second path folks who already have an existing billing account, like I'm going to show right now, sorry, existing project, like I'm going to show right now, go ahead and take out the copied project ID. If you don't know where you copied it, go back to your Google Cloud Console, click the project picker drop down, copy the project ID, come back here, paste it. So there are two tabs in this local application: billing setup, AlloyDB setup. Go to billing setup. This is not for everybody. This is the second category of folks who have an existing project and you want to make sure you're linking it to the trial billing account. Make sure you put in your project ID here, the old project ID or whatever project ID you want to make sure you're associating with the trial billing account. And then leave the billing account name empty. It will automatically pick the right billing account, the trial one of the billing account. So leave it empty. Just click the link to active billing account button. It will automatically do the needful. It will make sure your new project or whatever project you're entering there is linking to the right billing account. Why is it? Oh, maybe I accidentally clicked in a different project. Oh yeah, sorry, the billing, my project ID is wrong, that's why. So let me copy the right project ID. See, this is what will happen if you have a wrong project ID. So make sure you go to Google Cloud Console, copy the project ID correctly, come back here, paste your project ID. Yeah, see, I had a wrong project ID. Now click the link to trial billing account button. It will take care of the needful. Yeah, see, now I got a green success message which says successfully linked project to billing account so and so. That's it. Now I go to AlloyDB setup. Please carry on with this step, finish the step, and then we'll talk. Okay, and we'll talk means I'll look at your questions. Now go to second step, which is AlloyDB setup. Make sure the project ID that you copied, make sure you paste it here, and then select region as US Central 1. Don't select any other region. Choose US Central 1 for now, because we want to make sure that right now, probably it's fine. Just choose US Central 1 because the reason why I'm saying this is there are some commands we'll copy later where this value is hard coded. So use it US Central 1. Cluster name, instance name. If you created this cluster and instance yesterday and you forgot to delete it, then you probably have to rename the cluster. Or you can use the same cluster that you created yesterday if it is still active. If you have not used up your credits, you can still use that. If you're going to want to create a brand new cluster and instance today, make sure you're renaming it into something else, like -S2 or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to do that, -S2 in both. And for password, type AlloyDB, all small. You can give any password you want, something that you can all remember, AlloyDB, all small. Now click the start deployment button. Once it starts deployment process, you will see the logs getting populated in green font. Slowly, it will take about 10 minutes. So let this process go on. In the meantime, show of thumbs, how many of you were able to successfully get to this point? Okay. If you did this yesterday and you already have an active cluster and instance open, you don't have to worry, just leave it as it is. You can use the same cluster and instance. But in most cases, AlloyDB probably would have ate up all your leftover credits of $5 or whatever, because it's very limited credits that this is available, right? So may have used up, but if it's not, don't worry, you can use that. If it is showing that it's giving you correctly, so it's ST, it's giving you the message, right? Run the gcloud auth login, obtain new credentials. You have to do that. Yeah, that's what the error is very self-explanatory. So if you get some other error message that resources already exist, maybe your cluster or instance or VPC is already existing, but it should not be an error. It should be a warning unless your cluster, sorry, I forgot, I lost my train of thoughts, but yeah, only that would be the reason. But I would suggest find out what are these resources that are pending, that are already existing. You may have to go and find out. You may have to check the logs for what resources it says already exists. So this is for Saddam. Failed precondition. Cloud billing quota exceeded. You probably did not use a trial billing account. That's probably what it is, Karthik. If you use existing DB cluster, just restart. If you stopped it yesterday, you can go and restart it. You don't need to create a new cluster, J. If your space is used up, just delete old projects. There must be a gcloud command for seeing available space, but if it is not showing no space left error, you can continue using, because by the time it gets up to 90%, you will not get an error message or warning message. At 90%, you will get a warning message, so don't worry about it. If you haven't got a warning message, you can use it for this project. It's not a very heavy project, so don't worry. Terminal step. I don't know which terminal step you want me to repeat. So yes, email was not going, Sai Sandeep, you're right. I was also hoping to receive email. It didn't go out even now. So you probably will all be spammed with 3 emails from RSVP platform whenever it's deciding to send an email. I don't know what to do. Email is not getting delivered. So we have to find out. But yeah, I'll find a way to keep you all communicated. Yes, Pujita, if you have an existing cluster which is stopped, just restart it and use it. But even if you have an existing cluster, make sure the instance is available for you to use. Yeah. So I am going to go back to the app right now to see if my instance is created completely. It is not. So let it go on. While we are waiting for the instance, let's go to Code Lab and see where we are right now. So as you can see, we set up GCP credentials, like not credentials, credits. All right. And then we created a project. We associated the project to the billing account, both happy path and the old project path, both of you successfully linked your project to your billing account. Then we saw what we're going to build. We discussed the architectural components. We discussed we are using AlloyDB, AlloyDB AI, Google Cloud Storage, Gemini 3.0 Flash, and Cloud Run for deployment serverlessly, which means you can just do one command deploy and get your application running on the cloud instantly. And AlloyDB AI, the reason why we are calling it as AlloyDB AI is instead of taking the data out of your system and writing a bunch of code to get vector search or contextual search happening, what we are doing is we are bringing those AI capabilities within the context or within the scope of your SQL queries or your PostgreSQL queries, or rather, in other words, we can say right where your data resides in place. So that's why AI integration to databases is really, really powerful. All right. So, and then what we did, we went ahead and we activated or enabled the APIs. We created the database project, and we, not project per se, we just triggered the database configuration step by clicking this button and then running the command sh run.sh. This is what someone was asking, I believe, from the terminal. Once it takes you to the terminal with the navigator tutorial on the right, just copy the sh space run.sh command and close the tutorial and run that command in the terminal within the project folder, of course. And once you run it, it will automatically make sure your local application, this application is running, like this application, sorry. And then what you had to do, you have to, for people in the second category, you went here and linked your old project to the new billing account. New people, new project people didn't have to do anything. And then you went to AlloyDB setup, you provided your project ID, you provided a new cluster name and instance name and a database password, which is AlloyDB, all small. And then you click the deploy button. That's it. How did you come to this application? In your terminal, you got this application's URL visible right after you ran the sh run.sh command. So you click the 127.0.0.1, the localhost app, and that's how you came to see this application. All right. So now what we're going to do is somebody's can you please be on mute whoever is speaking?
Microsoft event attend
Chaitanya Sai, folks here.
Cloud Administrator certification. అయితే ఆ ఎగ్జామ్ జనరల్గా 3000 అట్లా ఉంటుంది చేంజ్ 3000 చేంజ్ ఉంటుంది 1500 ఏమో 50% ఆఫ్ అని అదే ఎగ్జామ్ షెడ్యూల్ చేస్తాను సర్టిఫికేషన్ ఉంటాయి.
చైతన్య గారు మైక్ మ్యూట్ చేయండి.
ఫ్రీ సర్టిఫికేట్లు అప్పుడు చేయాలి కదా.
Please. Thanks. All right, I muted them, so don't worry. I was just trying to be polite, but anyway, we have to do what we have to do. Moving on. Okay, where are we? We are in the database setup step, right? So if at all you feel the need to troubleshoot any of the steps that we have discussed, each step for this code lab and the following code labs in the season are equipped with troubleshooting steps in the at the end of each important step that you can see. So don't worry about it. If you're stuck somewhere, you can always go visit this list of steps. It's designed to be a superset of all the issues that you can encounter. So take a look at the troubleshooting steps based on your feedback from previous seasons. I made sure this is included now. All right. So anyway, let's go to the app now to see whether the application is complete. No, but it's still deploying my instance. Show of thumbs, any of you successfully finished deployment or got the instance created? Oh, wow, that's a lot of folks. What's wrong with my instance? Why is it taking so much time? Okay, anyway, while my instance is going on, I want to walk you all through what we are going to do next. Schema provisioning, right? So let's go to the schema provisioning really quickly. Go to your code lab. We'll just walk through what we are going to enable or empower from the database side. We'll open AlloyDB Studio. I'll show you how once my instance is created. We are going to connect to the studio using the credentials we created. And then in the editor, we'll create the extensions for integration of ML. Remember, I said we are bringing AI to the data instead of taking the data out of the system and writing your own program application code. So that's why we are enabling this extension, which is Google ML integration. This means you're talking to Vertex AI. All Gemini APIs and other AI stuff integrations happen here using this. And then we are also enabling vector extension, create extension PG vector. Here we call it as create extension vector. And then we are going to create a table. This table is for items. Remember, we are going to build a surplus swap application, a dating app for your stuff. So the items will have item ID, owner ID, provider name, provider phone, title, the bio of the person who is sorry, not the person, the bio of the product that you want to list, category of the product, image URL, item vector, and status, whether it's matched with someone or not, someone's requirement or not, and created at. So this is what item tables has. And the swipes table has who is swiping, like who is the taker for the product, and what direction, left swipe or right swipe, whether they're taking this or not taking this, and whether it's a match or not. And then the created at is a time at which this happens. And then we are provisioning we are granting permission for executing embeddings, because remember I told you, you can, once the app is open, you want to search for stuff like, I want a specific, you're not going to say, I want this particular brand, this particular item. You want to search contextually, right? So we are going to use embeddings, which is numerical representation of data, which translates your water bottle into numerical representation, so that when I'm searching for bottle of water, or just bottle, or glass bottle, or whatever it is, or just a shaker, or whatever it is that I search for, it should contextually relate to what is there in the database. So we are going to use embeddings, and we're going to use vector search for that. Vector search means performing search on the vectors. Vectors is a advanced data type, which it is just an array of floats, array of numbers, right? And that's what embedding means as well. And we are going to grant embeddings execution permission for this user Postgres. And we're also granting the Vertex AI user role for this AlloyDB service account. Why? Because our application needs to talk to Gemini API, which is in Vertex AI. This way, AlloyDB is able to inherently invoke Gemini capabilities on the data. All right. And how we are going to do this is this call construct right here. This you can run in your database itself directly, which you will see shortly. All right. Now let me see if the instance, it is still creating my instance. How dare. Let me see what happened here, whether it's created or not. All right. Why is it taking so much time? But I agree because it took some time for my billing account also to get associated. Let me just quickly see if the AlloyDB is showing yesterday. So I'll use it because I don't want you to be delayed because of me. So I'll click AlloyDB for, you don't have to follow these steps. I'm just trying to check something. Oh, my instance is created. I think this is just not showing. Or I accidentally closed it. No, it is still running. Oh, creating instance. It is still creating. However, here I see the instance is up. So maybe it's almost done. That's what I think is going on. What? Why is it opening API? Maybe it's not almost done. It is still creating my instance, so I'll have to give it a few more minutes then. There's no error in my logs, hopefully. Oh, now I think it's gone because I closed the app. Let's see. Hopefully not. Anyone still going through the same step as I am? How many of you got instance? Sorry, how many of you have your instance creation step in progress? Okay, so many of you got instance created. Some of you are still going on. Okay, let's allow it 2 more minutes, or at least three more minutes, and then if it's still not done, I'll show you from my other profile where I have AlloyDB instance created. Should be created already. It shouldn't take this much time because yesterday it was really quick for all of us, if you remember. Maybe I'll open that project really quickly, just so we are not stuck because of. Oh, I duplicated that project. Okay. Okay, let me do one thing. Make a new tab. Okay. So I'm going to use some other AlloyDB cluster and instance, which I already have, because this is taking time and I don't want you to be on hold because a lot of you already got it created. So while I set up the others whose AlloyDB instance is still getting created, let it go on. It will complete. Some issue is going on, probably, I don't know what. So I'm just going to leave it as it is without disturbing while I continue with my other AlloyDB profile. Yeah. So let me just quickly see if I already have anything here. Okay, I have 0 tables. This is a good place. However, let me just come back here and show to you where we are starting. All right, I'm here in Google Cloud Console. So for folks, show of thumbs, how many of you agree that you got your instance created? One more time, one last time before you start. Okay, perfect. For those who have not created your instance yet, please follow along. It's from this point, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to clone your code, which you can do right now along with us. You just have to make a few changes in the code, which you can do along with us. The only thing you won't be able to do is to connect your application to AlloyDB, but you can do that right after, soon after a session, as soon as your AlloyDB creation is complete. Yeah, it's not going to error out. It is just taking time, so that's fine. Just leave it as it is. All right. So I'll tell you how to move on to the next step, which is creating AlloyDB components. So folks, for those whose instance is still under creation, don't worry, just watch what we're doing. For folks who are able to get your instance created already, how to go ahead and create the table. So click the Google Cloud logo or open a new tab, all right? And in the search bar, type AlloyDB or just type AlloyDB. You should see this option, the first option in the list, which is AlloyDB for PostgreSQL. Click that. And once you click that, you should be able to see AlloyDB console like this. The clusters list will show up. Make sure you're able to see your cluster list. In your case, you'll only see your cluster and instance. Click the instance that we just created. All right. Once you click that instance, you should be able to see the configuration information, all the details that are related to that particular configuration. Now, what we want to do is go to the left Explorer pane, and right below Overview, you will see AlloyDB Studio. Click that AlloyDB Studio button or the menu item. Once you click the AlloyDB Studio item, you will see this Explorer pane where you have schema, tables, views, functions, placeholders. Tables should show 0 because you're just creating this. So no tables will be there. So right hand side, you can see the AlloyDB Studio pane where you have untitled query. Click that. Go back to your code lab. What we're going to do is, remember where we copied the, where we saw the enable extensions statements? Copy that. You have an option to copy code sample, or you can just select all and copy from those 2 lines. Come back to your AlloyDB instance, paste, AlloyDB query editor, paste these statements and click run. Once you click run, the statement is successfully executed. Great. You can delete this part right now. Go back to the code lab, create a table, DDL, copy this. Again, click copy code sample. So both the tables, DDLs, both create table statements will get copied. Come back to your AlloyDB editor, paste this. You can run one at a time or you can run both. You should see these tables getting listed on the, once you click run, you should be able to see both these tables listed here. One is items, another one is swipes. Perfect. Now go back to the code lab. You can see that the item vector is a field in the items table, which stores the vector data. Remember, I told you about embeddings. We are going to store data in the form of numerical format or embeddings format in order for us to be able to do contextual search. This is that field, item vector field. It's of dimension 768. So I'm just showing that so you recognize which field stores it. All right, now we are going to copy the grant permission command. Click copy code sample, come back to your editor, remove the create table scripts, copy, paste this, and then run this. That's it. Statement executed successfully. Great. So I'm done with all the execute statements for now. Let's go back to the code lab, scroll down. We have one Cloud Shell command, which we need to run in the terminal. So what you're going to do, you're going to copy the code sample from project ID, this part. What it's doing in the first command is basically collecting your project ID in the variable project ID, and it's assigning this Vertex AI user role to the service account of AlloyDB. So copy this entirely by clicking copy code sample, Don't paste it in AlloyDB. You have to run it in Cloud Shell Cloud Shell terminal. So paste it in your Cloud Shell terminal, making sure that it's pointing to your right project. All right. So make sure it's pointing to the right project. In my case, it is not pointing to the right project. So how will you make sure? gcloud gcloud set gcloud config set project space, give your project ID. This is a different project ID I'm giving. Don't copy me. You have to copy your project ID. gcloud config set project space project ID. If you don't know where it is right above that. If you see in your Cloud Shell terminal, it will be showing gcloud config set project ID. Go ahead and run that. It will make sure you're inside the right project ID folder. Sorry, right project ID. And to make sure you're in the right folder or you don't want to be in a specific folder, just do a cd space ... It will bring you to the root folder. That's it. Now I'm going to paste the two commands that I copied from the code lab. Hit enter. Now this should make sure your Vertex AI user role is assigned to the AlloyDB service account. That's it. Now we are complete with all the permission step. The next step is to register Gemini 3 Flash so that your AlloyDB data can inherently access Gemini 3 Flash from within the scope of the data. But before we run that statement, I want you to show of thumbs. I want you to do show of thumbs up to this step. How many of you were able to successfully? My screen is not shared. It is shared now. Grishma. Is my screen shared for everyone? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. That's enough. Let's continue. Don't worry if the instance is not created and you're stuck. Follow the rest of the steps, not this particular step. You won't be able to do anything with AlloyDB if the instance itself is not created. But the next step onwards, you can do cloud storage and creating the application. So for now, just listen. Right after the session, just jump into it and create your AlloyDB instance. That's not a problem. But from next step, step number 5 onwards, you can follow along. Yeah. Now you can just watch us. So moving to the next step, which is registering Gemini 3 Flash in AlloyDB. So for this, copy this call statement, copy code sample. This time, we don't have to run it in terminal. We have to run it in the query editor. Paste it in the AlloyDB query editor. One thing you have to change in this DDL, this is the call statement. As you can see in the commented line below, it is asking you to replace your project ID in angle brackets, double angle brackets with your actual project ID. Remember what you copied in the beginning, the project ID, not your project name. Make sure you enter your project ID here and then run this command. Once you run this command, your model ID, Gemini 3 Flash Preview, will now represent or can point to the Vertex AI's Gemini 3 Flash model. That's what we are doing. Yeah. Now going back to the code lab, if you've encountered any issue, you can always refer to the troubleshooting here. But now we are done with the schema provisioning step. We are moving on to cloud storage step. I don't know. I think this thing is stuck for me. I'll have to retry it, or I'm just going to leave it alone anyway. But yeah, don't worry about it. For folks who also encountered the same issue as I did, or folks who were able to successfully create the instance and finish the schema provisioning step along with me just now. Awesome. Let's move on to the next step. Everyone can go do the fifth step, which is image storage, because it's not directly dependent on AlloyDB configuration right now. So go ahead and do this. We'll create the application. Your only missing piece will be the AlloyDB talking part. We'll do that later for other folks. Those who are able to successfully create instance, let's move on and do the image storage. Yeah. Go to step 5 in your code lab. If you go to the top of the step, you will see create a bucket point. And in that point number 1, you will see create is hyperlinked. Right click, copy that link and open a new tab in the same browser where you have the Google Cloud account, Google account logged in. Hit enter. Or another option is just to go to Google Cloud Console and in the search bar, type cloud storage. Either way, just click that. It will automatically, if you click the hyperlink, it will automatically take you to create a bucket page. So it's okay. If you click that, Great. Continue. Provide a globally unique name. So I'm going to give a unique name for myself. You cannot copy the name. You have to create a brand name for your brand new name for your bucket. So I'm going to call it this. Okay. You can choose a name of your choice. It has to be unique. Only then it will allow you. I'll hit the continue button. You also do that. Don't choose multi-region and location type. Choose region and choose US Central. One region is enough. Or maybe the region is what is causing the issue. I don't know. So let it be. Okay. So choose US Central 1 and don't choose multi-region or dual region. Just choose region and then click continue and then leave everything else as is. Continue. There is a checkbox where it says enforce public access prevention. For the time being, for this demo application, I'm going to uncheck it, which means we want to allow public access. Yeah, we don't want to prevent public access because we want to go without authentication for this bucket for now. Next, click continue. If you don't uncheck it, you will encounter a problem later. So don't miss that step. Go ahead and uncheck the part where it said enforce public access prevention. Uncheck it. Yeah. And then click the create button. Now it will take a few seconds and there we go. My bucket is created. Once the bucket is created, go to the permissions tab. You should see this bucket details console. Third tab from the left is permissions. Go to permissions. This is a mandatory step. Even though you unchecked enforcing public access prevention, it will still keep it not public. You have to force the public access for the demo application's purpose. So what you do, scroll down in the permissions console. You see two tabs, view by principals, view by roles. And then under view by principals, you see grant access. Click the grant access button. Under new principles, say all users. All, U is capital, everything else is small. Choose that all users and then assign a role. This is all there in the code lab. If you look at the code lab, you can copy the username from there. Add the all users. Just copy the all users principal. Go back, paste it here. I've already pasted it. Next, what is the permission we want? Storage object viewer, the bold one. Just copy the storage object viewer and the next is storage object creator. Both roles we need to provide. So first paste this one, select that one. Next is click add another role and then paste this in the drop down. Second is storage object creator. Choose both. Make sure two roles are selected for this principal all users and click save. Then it will confirm still. Do you really want to make this public? Say allow public access. This is for a demo application. In reality, in the real application, you would not allow public access if you don't want to. You will use this authentication and then you will make sure you provision. Remember how we gave AlloyDB service account the access to Vertex AI? Similarly, we'll run a similar one for cloud storage. But I just wanted you to experience both. That's why we did this. All right, now we have enabled this. Somebody is making a lot of noise. You need to go on mute. Whoever that is. Please find them and you have the ability to mute. Please do that. Or if you don't have the ability, I'll make one of you co-hosts, so you should be able to. It's there in the code lab, Akila. Just look at the code lab. It is there step by step. The reason I don't want to go over the steps again, because I've already created the bucket. So would a lot of people have, but we are also nearing the time. We still haven't created the application. So let's go ahead. It's very simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's there in the code lab. If you go to step number 5 in the code lab, every single step you need to go one by one. Yeah. So now what we have done is we have created the bucket. We have granted access. Great. Come back to the code lab. Any problem, you can always go through troubleshooting if it doesn't work. Otherwise, just follow the instructions. It should work. Next is step number 6. Let's create the application. Now what we have done is we have created, we have set up the credits. We have done set up the database cluster and instance configuration. We have set up schema, created table, created what do you call that? Registered the model, Gemini 3 Flash model in AlloyDB, and then enabled the extensions to use vector and Vertex AI, or basically Gemini LLM, from within the scope of the data. It made all the schema related dependencies ready. Then we created cloud storage bucket, sorry. And then for the bucket, we provisioned access, public access. And now we are moving on to step 6, which is creation of application. Show of thumbs. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for confirmation. We'll move on anyway. It's very simple. So you will be able to follow the code lab step by step without missing a point. And also you'll get the video so you can complete it right after the session or tomorrow. Yeah, you will be able to complete the lab easily, but please follow along. For those who have completed so far, you'll be able to complete the rest. Others, if the schema provision, sorry, the instance provisioning is still not complete, don't worry. You will still be able to create the storage bucket and also the application. So let's all continue to do what we're doing right now. Step number 6, creating the application. So you have to clone this repository. So cloning, don't click the button here, just right click. You can also click the button, but it will just open it in a new tab. Yeah, it is just opening my GitHub repo. This is the project we are going to build right now, the neighbor loop. That's what it's called. So it is a Python Flask application. How do you know? Click requirements.txt and see what dependencies are used. You will immediately get to know what framework it is built on. Yeah. So now come back here. Go to app.py. I'll just walk you through what is there. Yeah, quickly. So what we're doing here is the landing page. This landing page, basically what you're doing, it renders the app.html template. So whatever items are presently there, you'll be able to see that. Yeah, it will talk to database, it will fetch the items, and it will show 20 at a time. All right. Next method is listing the items. So when you search, it will do a quick, this is not search items, it's just getting all the items that are available. That's what this method does. The next one, list item. This allows you to add a new item that you own. The first few are viewing existing items. This one is for listing a new item. We'll see that once we deploy this application. Yeah. And then what else do we have here? We have listing. When you list, you have to insert. That's why you see the insert script here. And then search. This is the most important part. We're just walking through the code, so please bear with me. The search is the most important part. What we're doing right here is semantic vector search. So where is the query for semantic vector search? This is the most important part. So for those folks who already have your database up and running, you can just copy this query and run it in your database to see your application contextually returning data. But currently you won't have any data because we have not inserted any. So don't run this query now. I'm just showing you what it is. So what we're doing here is we're selecting the item with its title, bio, and category, and the image. And we are selecting the distance from the user's search. So where is the user's search? This is the user's search text, which is query. This is going as a parameter to your application. So let's say I'm searching for a water bottle or a vintage lamp. It will search for that. That will be passing in as a query. Passed in as a query. Next, where is the actual vector search performed? This is the part, the double-edged arrow, the double-arrowed equal sign means cosine similarity between the item vector. Remember at the schema definition page, I told you what item vector is doing. It is storing the dimension. It is storing the embeddings of your item description. And this is the search query. So now it is matching that vector against your currently generated vector of the user's search query, which is vintage lamp. So it will convert vintage lamp into numbers and do a cosine similarity matching against all the vectors that you have in your database, and it will identify the top 5 matches and it will return. This is exactly what is happening in contextual search. All right. Now, and then insert and all that, swipe. So this is all very typical database operations. If you swipe, you will insert a record into the swipe table. So all that is happening. So just go through the code. Matches, this will return how many matches are there in the table. Because you will see the application in the end. You will know where the matches are listed. All right, that's it. That's a very simple application and 5 or 7 functionalities. That's it. You will be able to see that in the app.py. That's all. And then if you go to templates, you will see all the HTMLs. There's only one HTML, the app.html. You will see the details there. All right. Now, are you all ready to build this application, like clone this into your project? So copy right click and copy the GitHub repository, copy link address. To clone this, yeah, Sai, why are you sending so many thumbs ups? Please don't do that. It's distracting. Thanks. So right click, copy the GitHub repo. Now you have to go to your Cloud Shell terminal, right? So you go to your Cloud Shell terminal, which is open here in the bottom. Now what you're going to do here, make sure you're in your root folder. You're not in any particular folder. Make sure you're in the root folder so that your project is not accidentally created elsewhere. Now going back to the repository, sorry, code lab, don't copy the repo. What you have to do is copy the code sample, git clone, and the GitHub repo. Copy this code sample. All right, come back to your Cloud Shell terminal, as you can see right here, and paste that command, which is git clone and the project. I'm going to give a different name because I probably already have, or maybe I don't. Let me just hit enter and see. Okay, I don't have this project. I just created neighbor loop. So that's it. Once you create git clone, it should clone it and create this project in your editor. So click open editor and see if this project is showing up. All right. While that is loading, let's move on and see what the next step is. That's it. We have to go to the application and make a few changes. We have to get API key. And then connect your database details here in the bottom. That's pretty much it. And then provide your bucket name, which we just created. All right, so let's go back and see whether my, yeah. So as you can see right here, where is my, I'll refresh this, or I'll have to go to file, open folder, and I have to see if my neighbor loop, yeah, my neighbor loop is created. So I'm going to open that. In your case, if you open editor, you should be by default able to see the list of all the projects that you have. In my case, I was already inside a project, so I had to specifically go into this one. All right, so this is the project structure as we saw in the GitHub repo. So now I'm going to app.py. No change required here. If you see in the code lab, it tells you what exactly you need to change. The only change you need to do is in the .env file. But for that, we need API key. So let's come back here. Let's see .env, what all we need. We need Gemini API key, and then we need to populate the database URL. All right, and then the GCS bucket name. I already told you what my GCS bucket name is, or your GCS bucket name is. You know, you created it. So go ahead and put in that GCS bucket value there. I already have it because I just created it, right? So I'm going to paste it here. Database URL. I'll populate my database URL. You also do that for your password, host, and whatever it is you need. Yeah, make sure you enter everything correctly. For the private IP host and port, you already know that information because once this was created, oh, I forgot to tell you to copy that. So when your AlloyDB completed its creation, instance creation, in the summary tab, you should have copied the IP address and everything. If you didn't copy, it's okay. You can always go back to AlloyDB. Remember, we already have the AlloyDB cluster and instance open because we ran a few queries and statements. Right click on the all clusters, open in new tab. So on the top left corner, you'll see all clusters in AlloyDB. Right click and open it in a new tab. Here, select the instance, the AlloyDB instance that you're working on. I'm working on this instance, right? So I'm selecting that. You should also go into that AlloyDB instance and make sure you scroll down. You open the view connectivity configuration and copy the private IP address that is showing here along with the port. Yeah, so copy that. Come back to your project, wherever you're writing the code. It's right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to replace this host and port with that. Make sure you're not changing any format of the URL. Accidentally don't overlap don't delete away the slash and stuff. You have to maintain the format. It has to be PostgreSQL, you don't need to change the first part. You just need to change the password. If you used a different password, you need to change your host and port. That's it. And then make sure you find your Gemini API key. So this one we need to generate right now. So let's go and see how to generate it. It is also there in the code lab. But before that, show of thumbs, how many of you got to this point? Okay, we are very close. We just have to replace the Gemini API key placeholder. So let's create a Gemini API key. If you already have one, please paste it there. I'm going to create a brand new one just for this demo session. Yeah, if you go to step 6 in the code lab, in the point number 3, it says visit Google AI Studio. Right click that hyperlink, open link in a new tab. I'm going to open link in a new window. So I just create the API key. 1 second. You're not able to see that screen, right? So I have to come back to this window, then only then you'll be able to see. Yeah, you're able to see my screen, right? Okay. Google AI Studio. Once you click that hyperlink, you will probably see something in the build. Just don't worry about it. Just click the back. Let me go back and show you what I showed. So click this hyperlink. It will open in a new tab, right? So once you open this AI Studio, you should be able to see the left navigation pane. You will see Get API Key option. Click that menu item, Get API Key. Now, it will say there is no project listed. You have to import your project. So import your project. Make sure you're choosing the project that you want to use. Okay. And then I don't have a current API key, so I'll click Create API Key. In the top right corner, there is a button that says Create API Key. Click that. Name your key. I'm just going to name it something. Demo. What? Why? Do you all also face this issue? This might be a resource restriction for me, but you may not be facing this issue. Others are able to. I have an API key which I can use, but others, can you confirm you don't face this issue? Or I can use it from some other project as well. That's not an issue. But folks, can you confirm you're able to? My account selector is not wrong. It's showing the right project. Or maybe the hyphen could have been an issue. No. No, maybe I don't have access because this is a work account. That's probably why. That's okay. I have an API key and which I can use anyway, but others, can you confirm? Is anyone facing the similar issue, or you're all able to create API keys? Confirm, please. Yes, you need to import project. That is a mandatory. Okay, thank you for confirming. Please just use the message. That's fine, because then it's not fair to everyone else who wants to ask question as well, right? Yeah, you need to import a project, which is what I tried to do, but it is not. For me, I'm not allowed. So I'm just going to use a key that I already have. It's already imported. Yeah. Let me just try one last. Okay, no, I cannot use. Let me just use a key that I have. So it's not an issue. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this from the site because I don't want you to see my API key. I'm pasting it there. Now I have pasted my API key and my .env is complete. All right. Now I'm going to bring it back into the tab so you all can see that my application is ready and good to go. All right. So show of thumbs, how many of you completed your API setup? Sorry, application setup, API key setup, database setup, cloud storage bucket setup. Perfect. If not, don't worry. If your database creation was still an issue, don't worry. You can just do that part later once the session is complete. Yeah. So now I have all the environment variables set. Go to the code lab, check what the next step is. I'm going to close these tabs because it's distracting. All right, so here I am in the code lab. So we have completed step number 6. Let's go to step 7, which we have already done. We have already looked at the code. The only part of the code that we missed seeing is the prompt. So basically, how are we getting it to generate a witty description? You can see that the prompt is mentioned here, and how we are accessing Gemini 3 Flash from this application. That's something you want to know. Ideally, you can also invoke this from AlloyDB, but just for the sake of taking it out and projecting it here, if you want to do it from an application side, you will know how to use it. That's why I didn't do a separate session on 101 for using Gemini 3. So that's why I just separated this part from database and kept it separately in the application. Otherwise, you could also do this from your AlloyDB SQL statement itself. However, since we have left it for the Python side, you can see what our prompt is and how we are invoking Gemini 3 Flash from here. Yeah. So basically, we are just configuring it with this prompt and context and variables that we are looking for that will be coming out as a response from the call of this API. Moving on. I already told you about how embeddings are used and what is getting inserted and how what will happen when you're ready to insert your record. So now we can run it directly in local, but some of you may have an issue because we did not add 0.0.0.0 as a development IP into the AlloyDB setup. So you will not be able to access it from Cloud Shell terminal. The only option you have is directly deploy it in Cloud Run, because it will take a few more minutes if you edit that instance and save the 000 ID. So let's not do that. We'll just directly deploy it in Cloud Run and do the application testing as soon as we can. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. For folks who came to this point, this screenshot that you see right here in my screen, this is what you need to submit for result. Add to loop. You would be able to get to this point in your own deployed application. But however, since you came this far, even if you're delayed because of the instance creation, feel free to submit this particular screenshot. This is what you need to submit for today's result. Yeah, you would have got your credentials. If you didn't get your credentials because you signed up just a few minutes before the session, you'll receive your credentials in your email. If you had signed up in Code Vipassana, tomorrow morning you'll get this email with the credentials and everything. So you can submit the screenshot. Add to the loop. You will also, once you deploy, get to this point. Yeah. So let's get started with deploying this application to Cloud Run. So go to step number 8. As you can see right here, you just need to copy this particular snippet, which is gcloud beta run deploy app name, which is neighbor loop or whatever name you want to give to your application. You need to change a few things. You need to change your Gemini API key, your password, your private IP host and port, which we set it up in the .env file. You need to change all that, and your GCS bucket, which you would have created. So copy this, save it in a text pad so you know where to go. Yeah, you can always go back there and you can make those changes here. So whatever your network name and subnet name is something you probably won't know. I'll show you where you can find this. I'll paste it here in the chat as well. Just allow me one moment. Wait a second. It's EC-AlloyDB-VPC and EC-AlloyDB-subnet. So I'll paste it right here for you. One second. I'll paste the entire command except for a few things which you need to change. Here, this is your network name, and this is your subnet name. So how do you know this? I did not ask you, I forgot to ask you to copy in your summary tab once your instance got, because my instance was getting delayed, right? So I didn't see the summary tab. So once your instance was created, you will get all this information, the VPC, subnet name, your host port, and your IP address, that's the host. So all these details you will get in the summary tab. In our case, we couldn't get to the summary tab because my instance was taking time. But if you had copied it, great. If you missed copying that, that's not a problem. This should remain the same. This won't change. This is your, because we have hard coded it in our instance creation script, right? Or in the VPC creation script. So you would be, you'll be able to use this in place of your in place of your network name and subnet name placeholders in the gcloud run command. All right. So replace your, let me show in the code lab what you need to replace. So if you're able to see my screen right now, your network name placeholder will have the easy AlloyDB VPC, and the subnet, your subnet name placeholder will have the value easy AlloyDB subnet. That's it. Those are your only placeholders. Apart from that, you know other things. You know your own Gemini API key. You know your database IP address, port, password, which is AlloyDB all small, and your bucket name. So all of those are your information. Please go ahead and fill that. I'll also do it while you're doing it. You know where to find your IP address and port. I already told you it's in AlloyDB. You also copy pasted it in your .env file, so you can copy from there as well. All right. So my gcloud script is ready. I'm going to run this. You won't be able to see my screen because I'm running it in another window. The reason I'm doing that is because it has my API key. All right, so now I'm going to do the gcloud run deploy. Make sure when you're running this gcloud run deploy in your Cloud Shell terminal, this refers to the source dot. If you see the command here in your code lab, if you see the gcloud command, the second line has -- source space dot. This means it is looking for the files in your current working directory. So you have to make sure you're navigated and you're present within the terminal, you're inside the current active project directory. So don't miss that part. How you'll navigate, you just have to do cd space project name, which is neighbor-loop. Hopefully, if you did not clone and rename your project, you should have the same project name. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm doing let me show that to you so you're not lost. I'll quickly show this. So this is my Cloud Shell terminal. I'm not within. Make sure your project ID is also showing, right? And cd neighbor-loop. That is still my project name, I believe. Yeah. So I'm within my project name. Now I'll go ahead and paste my fully populated gcloud command, which you won't see. All right. The Cloud Run deployment has started. While it is deploying, it will take a few seconds or up to 2 minutes to complete deployment. So while we allow it to deploy, I'll show you the rest of the steps in the code lab. Once it deploys, we also need to run this step where we are giving AlloyDB client role for the Cloud Run service account. Why? Your Cloud Run application should be able to access AlloyDB as well, right? So we are granting this permission to a Cloud Run service account. This allows the serverless application to securely channel into the database. So for this, you need to copy this and run it from your Cloud Shell terminal. While the deployment is still going on, you can optionally go ahead and create another. So you can just wait for it to complete, or you can just create another tab, another Cloud Shell terminal open, like by clicking the plus icon on top of the Cloud Shell terminal and create this command. But I would say just wait, because anyway, that deployment needs to complete for you to be able to test it, right? So all you have to do is you don't have to change anything here. Just copy this code sample and run it. It will naturally grant that permission. So once this step is done, all you have to do is just go and access your application. In my case, the application is deployed and running in this endpoint. I don't have any item, so it's saying end of loop. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll create an item. So we're creating this item. I'll click this plus button. This is a screenshot that I told you that you'll all be submitting for result. See, everyone would get this. Once you deploy the application, you will get this in your own app, which you can submit as a result, right? Just take a screenshot and submit. Now, I'm going to add an item. I'll just say, I don't have a picture of anything though. Let's say I have a jacket. Oh, my name, sorry. It's my name. Some number, a jacket, and then I'll just choose a jacket. I'll just choose this blazer. Yeah. All right, now I'll click upload and auto generate. So now it's uploading the item and it's auto generating the bio for me. How many of you got your app deployed? Show of thumbs, please. Okay, great. Go and play around. Database engine not initialized. Yeah, you have to remove. You have to do the proper placement of variables. If you have not provided the values properly, it will result in error. It will result in error. Okay, let me try really quickly. This is an existing application. I don't think I have access to the database yet, so I'm just trying in another one. Just give me a minute. Did anyone get your application working? Did you get the response? How many of you got the response correctly? You need to provision the database access and everything. If that is not done, it will not work. So make sure that is carefully taken care. Let me just quickly do that as well from the new tab. Oh no, this already has access, no? Let's quickly go back and check. 1 minute. I'm facing some issue. It is taking a lot of upload. No, upload failed. So maybe database access issue is something that I'm facing. It can stem from the fact that I switched between private and public recently on this database, which I didn't create right now, right? I used something that's existing, but that should not be the case for the rest of you who created the instance successfully. Can somebody confirm? Just when your issues are because you have syntax issues, like you have unnecessary tokens in your deployment script. Dharamvi, can you confirm in chat you got the listing successfully added? Okay, Varun, you got it added as well. All right. Let's just quickly check. If not, you can just go back right after the session as well. You'll be able to successfully connect this and test. There are also some troubleshooting steps listed. But mostly if you followed all the steps, there should not be an issue. In my case, I just went back and forth between two database instances, right? Because the instance that was supposed to be created today took time for me. So I had to let that go, right? It's still, it timed out for some reason because the shell connection was lost. So that's why it didn't happen for me. But for the rest of you, if you followed these steps exactly the way it is, you should be able to deploy and get your item added. So I'm going to allow you to do that. Some of you have already successfully completed to this point, and since some of you have confirmed that you're able to create the surplus item and get it listed, I'm going to just leave it at that because you're able to see. Can you share your screen, Varun, and show the result? Varun, are you able to share your screen?
Abirami, actually, it's not allowing to share. Hosts need
Okay.
to be give permission.
Yeah, let me add you as host. Okay, done.
Yeah, this is the image which I uploaded.
Okay.
So here in database, I have verified two tables. One is the swipes and one is the items. So it's showing me the rows which I have uploaded.
Yeah. Can you go to the app and do the swipe?
Yeah.
So you like it? Great. So once it's a match, you get that. And if you scroll down, you will see the matches as well. Go to matches, click matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you see all the matches that you're doing will show up in the bottom. So that's it. You didn't do anything different from the code lab, right? You just followed the code lab access and you
Yeah.
were able to. Yeah.
Yes.
And you can also do semantic discovery. You can go in and search for, say, a guy with a white shirt or something like that. I mean, you don't go and search for that in this app because that's not what we're looking for. It's for items. But just because he only had images like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Currently, you don't have it because you already matched it. Somebody already bought it or took it. That's why. Yeah. So that's pretty much
I
it.
verified all the uploaded things, which is
Yeah.
showing items.
Yeah. So perfect. So the code lab is supposed to work as is. In my case, my instance was not created and the previous instance I used is not enabled for access. I have not enabled a few things, few flags there, so it's not useful. But don't worry about it. The rest of you should be able to successfully get to this point. If not, please take some time after this session. I'm going to give you back 10 minutes so you can try it at your own end. Use the Discord channel for questions. I have another meeting today, so I won't be immediately active on Discord, but the rest of our teams, the Code Vipassana leads, will be able to help you out there. But yeah, like I said, for the most part, everything is covered in the steps. For folks who are asking what to do in .env, what to do after updating .env, please follow the code lab. It's right there. Right after .env, all you have to do is deploy it in Cloud Run. That's all. Even if you want to test it locally, that option is also available by adding the 0.0.0.0 into your external IP configuration. Yeah. The recording will be sent tomorrow. Yeah, it will be sent once the video is processed. If it's processed tonight, I'll send it by tonight. All right. Thank you, folks. Thanks so much for joining, and thank you for completing till or waiting till this far and trying to complete it. Don't lose hope just because this one thing didn't work. It's not. It's okay. We did it along with the rest of the developers and you were able to come this far, you will be able to solve this as well. Just follow the instructions in the lab. Yes, the Discord channel's link was shared in the beginning of this session. If you missed it, you can always catch it in codevipassana.dev landing page. If you haven't signed up, please go ahead and sign up there. Yeah, that is correct, Kirti. That's what it's supposed to do. Now you have to click the plus sign in the top right corner and you have to add a new item. It's end of loop because there's no item. It's there in the lab. You can follow it. All right, folks. Thank you so much. The recording will be sent out to you tomorrow. Sorry if you had an experience where you